This is a Raspberry Pi.
This is a Sinden Lightgun. Put them together and you can do awesome things like this. Now, the Sinden is probably your mid-range entry point when it comes to home solutions for light guns. And now what I mean by that is you can get cheaper ones and you'll sacrifice things such as accuracy. You can get things like aim tech, which are really good, cheap, but you do spend a lot of time reconfiguring the accuracy on them. At least that's what I've been told. You can get much more expensive ones like the gun for IR. Now that retails for about between $350 to $400, but it is the best of the best when it comes to these home light gun solutions. The difference between the aim tech, the Sinden, and the gun for IR is that Sinden does not use IR sensors. Now, with the other two guns, what you'll have is a series of IR sensors dotted around your screen. That allows the gun to pick up whereabouts it's looking in relation to the size of your screen. Sinden doesn't use that. If you have a look at the screen at the moment, you can see a white border around my UI. Now that is put in there by the Sinden software, and it's the camera inside the Sinden. If I can just sort of, you can see it there. That camera is looking for that border, and then it's working out where in relation to that border it's actually pointing, and that's where it's putting its crosshair or aiming. I do also like the fact that the Sinden comes in two flavors. You've got the non-recoil and the recoil. So if you wanted to get it a little bit cheaper, you can go for the non-recoil version. It's a little bit cheaper than this one. It's lighter than this one. So jumping between the two, you'll maybe get a little bit of you'll have to sort of get yourself used to it again, just with the weight of it. The recoil one I do really like, because I was gonna, like, one of the games I really want to set up on this is Point Blank, and you've got to have that recoil in there with regards to Point Blank. Now it doesn't have a slide action when with regards to the recoil. It's just a big solenoid that sits inside the gun, but it gives you that bit of haptic feedback when you're pulling the trigger, and it has two modes, so you can either have it on single fire, or you can set it up to be machine gun fire, so when you hold it, it would keep firing. On the Sinden itself, you can see you have a little D-pad here for navigation. You have two programmable buttons on this side, so that would be on the left hand side of the gun. On the right hand side of the gun, we have two more programmable buttons, and we also have this. It's a, I don't know, like a slide that you could use for like a grenade launcher. You can also have it programmed that you can use it for on-screen reloads rather than having to flick off screen. Very, very handy. So you've got a lot of options when it comes to programmability on the Sinden. Now, when it comes to hooking this up, I would recommend going with Batocera, simply because Batocera seems to have a, let's call it a limited plug-and-play functionality when it comes to Sinden. By that, once you plug in the Sinden into one of the USB ports, Batocera detects it and sets everything up. It set up the border, it imported all of the options and configs that I needed. Now, that's not to say that I'm ready to go as soon as I plug this in. In a couple of games, yes, that is true, such as Sega's Alien 3, the gun. That worked straight out of the box. I didn't do any config to that at all. Other games like Point Blank or Virtua Cop, I had to set up the programmable buttons so that I could insert coin and press start. Those are simple enough to do. It takes you a few minutes, and once you're done, you're done. Now, there's multiple systems that will have light gun games. I'm not really concerned with which ones I'm going to play on. I've got ones for PlayStation, MAME, Super Nintendo as well. And you can add all these into the favorites, but that does mean going through the list and things like that and having to find them. But with Batocera, there's an easy way of finding all of your light gun games and putting them all in the one place. To do that, go into the main menu and go down to game collection settings, and it's actually under automatic game collections. So sorry, went into the wrong one there. So if I go back up, and if we scroll down, you can see various different collections. All of the light gun game ROMs are marked, so Batocera can identify them. Simply tick this and come back out, and you'll get a new category sitting on your main bar. There it is, light gun games. So really, what's that done? It's pulled in every game across all of the systems that I have that are configured for a light gun. It doesn't have to be a particular light gun game. It can be the ones like you saw there, Alien 3 the gun, which works on potentiometers. It's pulled it in from all of the different systems. There you can see Yoshi Safari for the NES. We've got Virtual Cop 2 there just on up for the Dreamcast. Now I do know I need to scrape the artwork and things like that for here, but I have just freshly installed Batocera again, so that will be done later on. One thing to note with my setup is that all of the DIY projects that I've taken on and built within the arcade, I've done on the cheap. So what I have at my core in all of these custom build machines is a Raspberry Pi. I'm not using any high-end PC or even a mini PC or anything like that. It's a single board computer. And that does give limitations. So in my setup, I encountered a few quirks and a few things that I had to try and figure out workarounds to, particularly around MAME. That seemed to be where my biggest problems come from. In future videos, I will probably detail a few of the quirks and issues that I had setting up various things, and hopefully I'll be able to shed a bit of light, because when I was trying to work them out myself, I was able to find people that had the same problems but didn't have any solutions to them. And I have managed to work around a few of them in regards to Point Blank, Steel Gunner and a few others. So maybe if I put these out here, they'll be of use to some people. Anyway, once you're all set up, then you can just go through the various games. You may have to do a little bit of config just to get the buttons the way you want them, but once you're done, save them and you are good to go. So what I'll do now is I'll cut over to a bit of gameplay of Virtual Cop 2, because I was really enjoying that. It's been such a long time since I played the Virtual Cop games. I've forgotten how much fun they are. I'm really enjoying the Sinden setup. The config really isn't that much to do. It's not that bad. Batocera has definitely helped out a lot. I really do recommend upgrading to version 37, because there are some quality of life improvements around Sinden. There's more options in there as well. Even though 35 is the bare minimum for sort of plug and play Sinden, I do recommend going to the one that came out in June there, so 37. So anyway, let's jump over to Virtual Cop and have a little look at it, and I will see you again very soon. Bye for now.
Let's go!